Hey, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop here on YouTube. Hope you're all having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. I really enjoyed this novel. It's one of those novels, I was interested by the premise of it. I didn't know if I was going to like it though, so I went into it and was like, this seems interesting. There's some books I go into and I'm like, oh, I know about this. And some books where I'm just like, am I? Sounds interesting, I'll give it a shot. I'm very happy I did. I thought it was a very interesting novel. It's reminded me a lot of ancient Greece, ancient Roman sort of culture. And I think one of the best parts of this novel is probably the mythology. Ross creates her own mythology here, and it was so invigorating. It was so amazing to see this mythology brought to life with this novel, because it's so thorough. I mean, you have this society, you've got two sisters, Halcyon and Evadne. They live in a society where, if you have magic, you're a part of the hierarchy, right? Typical fantasy trope, but the whole reason they have magic is because they are descendants of the gods. So it kind of balances out. If you are if your god is an ancestry, you would think you would have a high place in society, and they do. But more than that, they also have magic, but it sort of comes in levels. If you have a ring on your thumb, you are incredibly powerful. If you have a ring on your pinky, you have magic, but it's very weak. And they have, for all their fingers, to dictate what kind of level of a mage you are. Oh, sorry, my thing's getting into my eye there. I'm trying to let them grow out so that I can just kind of whip them to the side. But they're not quite there yet. But, you have this society where these mages dictate everything. Once again, typical kind of trope for fantasy. Mages have the power, so of course they're going to be the ones making the rules, right? And I think it's interesting how they are descendant from the gods. You have your handful of gods, and Ross lists them, right at the beginning, who these gods are, their, not choice of weapon, they each left something imbued with their power, be it a sash, a robe, an armlet, in one case, a sword. You have these gifts left from the god that can imbue anyone, even who doesn't have magic, with some sort of magic. And it's really interesting to see the mythology of the gods play out. I was completely enthralled by the mythology, because it was very, very reminiscent of Greek mythology. And if you know me, if you subscribe to my channel, I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology. So this novel reminded me a lot of Greek mythology, but Ross did an amazing job here creating her own mythology. I mean, it's so intellectually sound, it's constructed so well, and it gives history to this world that she's doing. She's basing her world building off of her mythology, and I thought that was incredibly invigorating. I loved the mythology. I loved this haunting mountain that everyone is afraid of, because there is an immortal sorceress who guards it, because that mountain does guard an ancient god who's been trapped down there forever. God wanted to build a pathway to the underworld, so his brother and sister god are like, okay, fine, go ahead and build it. You gotta build it through this mountain. You gotta use your power. So ended up draining him, leaving him trapped down there. It was a trick. If there's anything gods are, they have ego. They fight with one another, and they have vendettas with one another. one of the gods was jealous, so he decided, I'm going to trick you. Let's see how great you are then, huh? So I love that, It's stories like that remind me of Greek mythology. You hear that play out so much in Greek mythology, and that's why I loved Ross's story, because you can see her passion in this mythology that she's created. It's so her own, and it's so amazing. I honestly loved it. I kind of want more. Maybe a prequel novel with the gods when they first came to the world and started integrating before they went back to the heavens. The fallen god who is Evadne's and Halcyon's ancestor. He chose to give up his immortality to be with the woman he loved. Like, these are all stories I would love to read, because they're touched upon here, but I would like to see more of that brought to life here. I thought it was really good. That's how much it struck me. That's how much it sticks with me, to the point where I'm just invigorated by it. I'm in love with the mythology that Ross has created, and if Ross continues to write like this, I think she'll probably be one of my new favorite authors. Because it was great. As far as the story goes, has a strong foundation, has a good premise. One of the things that annoyed me was Halcyon. She goes, becomes a warrior, one of the best, the captain's favorite. He has a task for her and his son that results in his son's accidental death, and Halcyon does something stupid, and it doesn't really fit with her character. She runs away like she's guilty. Given everything that is said and done, given everything that's just kind of been said about Halcyon's character, her relationship with the captain, it just didn't fit. It really felt more like a plot device to create tension, to propel the story, rather than something that actually fit in the story. I wasn't a fan of it, to be perfectly honest. In fact, when I was reading it, I'm just like, this chick is stupid. That's what I thought. I was not Halcyon's biggest fan because of that, because it seemed like something very out of character. We're getting to meet this character, and already she feels out of character, because this happens very early on within the first chapter of the novel, and I was not thrilled with it. I did not think it was the most necessary of ways to sort of spin the story forward, but I think there could have been a different way to send this girl off to prison. The captain's sister is trying to overthrow the queen, so I think there could have been a different way for Halcyon to ultimately end up in prison and under interrogation by the captain's sister. I think there could have been another way around it. As for Evadne, I loved her. I loved her way more than her sister. She has an injury. She was bit by a dog when she was a child. It has left her with a limp. She's always wanted magic, but being the son of a fallen god, no one has ever had magic. They have pretty good standing, but that's about it. They're olive farmers. And she's always kind of lived in the shadow of her sister. And I think that plays a lot of symmetry to everyone living in shadow of the mountain. I love that kind of illusion right there. I thought it was really well done. And I also said it also allows her to grow a lot as far as the character goes, because she has to grow out of her sister's shadow. She discovers she has way more strength and capability than her sister. I honestly liked her way more. I thought she was a smarter character. I thought she was a more charismatic character. I do like the sisterly bond. I do like how there's no resentment between them. I love how they love each other. I do like that sisterly bond between them. I just think I think Halcyon could have been done better, honestly, and that's all I have to say on her. Evadne, I think her character development was amazing. You know, I think her story grows. You know, as a character, she grows. She finds so much worth in herself. She finds love. She finds strength. She finds herself able to do things others are not. You know, this girl who has no magic. And I think it's great that this girl who has no magic is the one that ends up saving the entire kingdom. I loved it. You know, I think it was honestly a breathtaking read. You know, I thought it was really well founded. I love the pacing of it as well. You know, sometimes when I read stories, if there's choppy pacing, I'll note it. I don't think the pacing was choppy here. I think it really does flow at a steady level. It raises the tension, it raises the intrigue, it raises the mystery. Like, you're wondering, why is this girl on the run? What the hell is going on here? You know, it does keep the momentum up. It does keep the reader engaged in the story, because you're not just engaged with the mythology and the world building, you're engaged in, you know, this political upheaval, with this mystery, with all the intrigue, you know, with the corruption. You are interested in the story and the characters, and I loved that about this novel, because I read it so fast too. I read it like that. I was just hooked. I really was just hooked from beginning to end, and more so to Evadne's story, once again, toward Halcyon, just because I think Halcyon, I think her voice was a little static at times. I felt like there was sort of a lack of emotion, but I think that goes more toward her character as a soldier, you know. So that's just me, you know. But it does say a lot about her character. You know, the author is, you know, being true to her character. You know, Halcyon is a warrior. She is very stoic. She's very strong and sturdy. And so it does make sense that her voice would seem a little static at times, and her internal narrative static as well. Which is probably why I liked Evadne more, because you got to see more of her passion. You got to see more life brought into her. But she, you know, she's a farm girl. She's been thrust into this situation, and you know, she's becoming stronger for it. And she's discovering that she has her own magic. You know, it's not literal magic, but she does have her own magic inside of her. And it was a really powerful message overall. So once again, this is Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. I give it 4 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, there will be a link in the description below to bookshop.org. Highly recommend bookshop.org, because a percentage of all proceeds do go to supporting local booksellers. Now, if money's tight, which I know for a lot of us it is, check out the book from your local library. You know, libraries are a great resource for the community, and they deserve our support. And I hope you will support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.